Welcome to the Masters in Motion podcast, where we empower Masters athletes to reach their full potential. Join us as we delve into the world of CrossFit and showcase the strength, resilience, and determination of Masters athletes, because we love this sport. I'm Jason Grubb, here with Rick Stevenson. Hey, Rick, how are you doing tonight?
For a Tuesday night in September, the last Tuesday of the summer.
Oh,
September,
wow.
Doing pretty well.
You know, what are your thoughts?
Just realized that.
As we go into fall, like, are you a guy that likes the fall and the winter, like the change of the seasons, or would you prefer a perpetual summer?
Okay, so for those that really know me, I'm a huge pumpkin spice fan. So yes, I do like the fall. Give me anything pumpkin spice. However, I don't like cold weather at all. It drives me nuts. I like the moving from summer into somewhat cooler temperatures, but we don't need to drop off a cliff. And living in Northeast Ohio, we drop off a cliff way too fast. And it seems like fall goes away like that. So this is I love September right now.
Yeah. I've noticed the weather when I was in the Outer Banks for the past 3 weeks. It was the same temperature every day, day in and day out, and that was fine. Actually, I got really used to it. But now we're in South Carolina, but we're kind of in some mountainous area here where we're at, and I'm noticing like the crispiness of the air. And I don't know if that's everywhere, but I know that having come from being on a beach to this mountainous area, and it's still humid. I'm still sweating like crazy, but there's just a crispiness. The mornings are like 54 degrees, 55 degrees when I wake up, which just feels freezing cold when I go outside to do the ice barrel, my plunge in the morning. But I've done it in much worse temperatures. I mean, it gets cold outside.
When you have to break the ice and you don't need your chiller, that's when you know it's cold.
Yeah.
Then you're in there for a very short time. Now, wait, did you say South Carolina? I'm sorry.
Technically South Carolina. Just right on the border. Yep.
You didn't find that fighter jet, did you?
I was looking. You know, I'm not sure if it was going to come all the way up from Charleston over here, but I kept my eyes peeled because I feel like there'd be a pretty decent reward for an $80 million plane or however much it is.
Is that not one of the oddest? I feel like every week has one odd story after another.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Not outside because the world of CrossFit has some news, but that story yesterday was just, really? We lost a jet here in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Why the hell do you do that?
How has it not shown up yet? Like, I mean, it's going to crash at some point. And didn't anyone see that? Like, and call in like, hey, there's a major fire.
Pretty sure it makes a noise. Yeah, exactly. All that jet fuel, but still. So be careful. No, I think they identified a wreckage field today.
Oh, they did?
I forget. Very, very rural county, so.
Well, dang it. Apparently it's not in the Kings Mountain. I'm in Kings Mountain, which I did discover today that there was a major war or a major battle in the Civil War. Probably lots of wars here, but in the Civil War in particular, there was a battle at Kings Mountain, which is a mountain that's just right here. So if any history buffs are out there that love the Civil War, I'm just a stone's throw from Kings Mountain, South or North Carolina. Now I don't know which state. I'm in South. Yes, I'm in South Carolina. The border is like a mile away. So every time I cross it, like my car welcomes me. Google welcomes me, on either side of the line. So it's a very welcoming area. CrossFit
say
news.
Hello to my daughter. How about that?
I will.
All right. CrossFit news. Gee, hey, before I say that, I did open up my podcast, take a look at everything, and everybody has this emergency broadcast today, emergency special episode, because of the news. We're just two guys that have a pretty regular schedule with nothing else going on, and it happens to be the news breaks the day we want to to talk each other. So
as far as breaking news goes, I don't know. I mean, we knew it. We knew.
Yeah.
We talked about this offline. I'm not sure if we actually posted, if we shared specifically Fort Worth, but you and I offline, I know that I had heard a rumor. I think you'd heard a rumor, and Fort Worth is where the games will be, and that is some big news. A venue change. It looks beautiful. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun down there for the athletes in 100-degree weather. It's going to be very hot second week in August out there, right?
August 8th through the 11th, I think, were the dates that were in the post.
Interesting. The announcement showed August 8th through 11th. The game site showed August 5th through 11th. So there's a slight discrepancy there. But I think it's I mean, I think the video is probably more accurate. I mean, if CrossFit could just one time have a consistent dates across all channels, the whole team would just be like, all right, guys, it's the 8th through the 11th. Okay, we all got it, right? Just check the department heads. And I'll tell you this, and I don't know if we get into this too much tonight. I think you and I are both in a wait and see status as far as what goes on with Masters. But I did post on social media tonight. I wouldn't call it a slight frustration, but just a thought that I had, and it was this. It was I actually wish that CrossFit would have waited on this news. I wish that the announcement was twice as long, and I wish it would have said something like, "Hey guys, big changes coming to the CrossFit world. Number one, the individuals and teams will be competing in Fort Worth, and here's what this is all about." And they show Fort Worth, and they say, the town and the Longhorns and the cowboy hats, and then the same grit, Laura Horvath lunge walking, like just awesome. Number two, age group and adaptive athletes will no longer be a part of this part of the games. This is for the individuals and teams. This is where the events will be. The adaptive and age groups will be blank and blank and blank.
Here.
Just and then they show the video. Will be teenagers. Just three other divisions or three other areas. Here are the three different competitions where they'll be competing for their CrossFit Games, and then maybe a blurb on each of those, just really quick, to show this cohesive, unified message around all the athletes that have participated historically in the CrossFit Games for the past 10 plus years. But they didn't do that.
Because what does this leave you today? They gave you a message, and it was nice. It was direct. Yep. We think the dates were right. Pretty great looking venue, brand new. However, it leaves us with the and. Well, we just don't know.
If you're just an everyday person and you're not like speculating the way we are and just like hearing whispers that everyone whispers, if you're just the guy that's in a gym that is a Masters athlete that wants to qualify to the games one day, you're like, Fort Worth, okay, I can wrap my head around that. I would like to do the CrossFit Games in Fort Worth, but that guy doesn't know that there's not going to be that the whole games format is changing this year. So that's where I just feel like CrossFit is. They share this huge message and it's great and it's exciting, but they say the CrossFit Games will be in Fort Worth. Well, now they need to redefine what the CrossFit Games are, so that we know what they mean when they say. And that's all. Just a little tweak on the message, and I'm happier. That's all.
Does that mean that they didn't think big picture, like you're suggesting, or the details aren't ironed out yet for the other areas, and the timeline kind of forced their hand? We don't know.
Could be.
Or are the details in hand and they just oversight said, no, you know what? We're going to make this announcement, and then we're going to make another announcement. And you're going to have to be paying attention and put two and two together. Watch the social media channels. Look for your emails to show up. We'll check the main site. That's how you're going to get your news.
Don Fowle, the CEO, has come from some very long-term oriented growth companies. I mean, he's worked in some really big tech companies, and they don't let timelines, as far as I know, large tech companies don't let timelines dictate their messaging. And I know that this is kind of historic how CrossFit does things. It's kind of push something out there, and then we'll deal with any ramifications, right? It's just put it out there. Hey, Masters athletes, or hey, age group adaptive athletes, we cut your live stream. We're going to hold a conference about it on Wednesday night, middle of your competition. We're going to have a quick conference, a press conference on it. But again, it's okay. I don't want to be sour on it. But
Monday we make the post about the single position camera, whatever that's called. Tuesday is the camera revealed. Oh, and then Wednesday we'll have the press conference.
Right.
That's you're like, what the?
It is. It's a little ping-pongy, or pinball-y approach, and every time you have some bit of a transition or you create friction with your audience, with your customers, which we are customers of CrossFit, you are taking withdrawals from an emotional bank account that you have with them, and I just feel like in our age group, in our divisions, our our reservoir, our emotional bank account is running low on gas, so we need some deposits.
There's enough going on in our lives outside of CrossFit that take their toll on our emotional bank account.
Yeah.
This is our escape. It's our sport. It's our passion. We don't need them to be withdrawing too, for crying out loud. We're supposed to be making deposits into that bank.
That is correct. That's what we're asking for.
I got real life to deal with.
Yeah, there's hard enough things out there. But
oh, gosh.
I mean, the venue looks great. It really looks looks
it does.
top notch.
It's brand new, apparently.
Presentation,
a couple years old.
Yeah. All my Texas friends are stoked. I've got lots of places to stay in Texas if I do go to watch the individuals or teams, compete.
Sure.
So, interesting.
Yep. Reached out to a buddy down there today. I said, okay, how close are you? And am I going to hang out at your place afterwards? And he's like, yep, whatever you need.
Yep.
Like, okay.
We're all making arrangements already.
Yeah. Who knows how who knows how the weekends are going to line up? Who knows what our season looks like? I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions. I doubt they'd run the events concurrently.
No, it just makes sense.
Right?
And imagine if our event is like 3 weeks after that. We're in the middle of like the final notches of training.
Push.
Like I don't know if I can travel to Fort Worth for 3 or 4 days to be an in-person fan while I'm training for my biggest event of the year.
Have your schedule really tweaked. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to travel. I never want to get on a plane.
You know what? This is once again we're going to start 2024, and we have said this. I think you and I said this back in February. We really hoped that there would be a year or two of just consistency.
Right.
And it looks like 2024 is going to be anything but. So is that done by design? Does that keep us guessing? I don't know. It certainly doesn't feel like it. So, hey, we know what we're focused on the next few weeks.
We do.
Into December. And then outside of that, who knows?
Yep. And it'll give us plenty to talk about. I got to tell you, I have so many questions to go over. I will be on Talking Elite Fitness on Thursday night, reviewing some of those questions for anyone that wants to tune into that. Or it won't be live, I guess. I guess they'll post that the next day. But we'll talk with Sean and Tommy and Lauren, and it's just see what they think. And they asked me for some of my opinions, and if you ask me for my opinion, I will gladly share my thoughts, because I have so many questions, but we will get to those as well as all of this gets revealed. I think you and I will have we'll certainly have our conversations where we're able to unpack this stuff. But next in the news, a couple of things. One, and this is, it's always fun to just kind of see like these things that pop up. But the Morning Chalk Up revealed today, I think, maybe yesterday, that Brooke Wells is headed to Hard Work Pays Off, leaving the Proven Camp, headed to Hard Work Pays Off, which is really interesting. I was actually thinking about the fact that Katrin went from Comp Train, from Comp Train, and she went off on her own in Iceland, and then went to Hard Work Pays Off. Actually, quite a few people went from that original Comp Train camp to somewhere else, and now they're all reconfiguring at Hard Work Pays Off, along with Harry, who's over there, and Sam Quant and Amanda Barnhart, which is that's fun, interesting. Yeah.
Now, will she commit to living up there, like
I don't know,
Hopper has, or if Mal comes back, Mal's up there or something. Yeah. So again, that's a lot of off-season fodder for the young kids.
Sure is.
I mean Brooke is popular. She's a fan favorite still. I mean, her comeback, the comeback endeared her to the community, and then to deal with some more adversity by not making it this year.
Yeah,
but being able there on person to support family, which was fantastic. It was a great story.
Yep.
And now this change, what does that mean for Proven? I think there's rumors of some others maybe leaving, or
I heard that too. I heard that.
We're not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but if the changes are going to happen, they're going to happen at this time of the year.
Yep.
Makes sense.
As they start to get back into training, back into full time.
Yeah, I mean this. Yeah, this is it. This is you laying out your path where you want to be in the next 12 months.
Right.
And it makes sense. Not the Danielle Brandon 2 weeks before the games jetting down to Florida. What, I don't know. I mean, that who knows what all that was. That's not.
She's a wild card, man. I mean, she's
to speculate. Yeah. So who knows what that was? But yes, this is the time to make your change. So congratulations to Brooke.
Yep. That's fun.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, and people are certainly talking about that too.
Did you participate in the Wodapalooza Qualifiers over the weekend?
I did not. I know some people who did, and yeah, challenging.
So
But I heard
challenging.
you did,
I
right?
did. I haven't
I,
decided if I'm going or not, but I didn't want to have that decided for me based on qualifiers. I would rather, punch my
mhm.
ticket and then make the decision. This is the first year I'll ever have to have done the qualifiers. My games
Okay.
appearance or performance has qualified me in historic years. This year, they're just not doing that because they cut the list of masters athletes down to such
Yeah.
small numbers that they're
Is
having.
it, are you guys five as well?
We're 10,
Is 45 to 49 five?
and
You're 10.
we're
Okay.
10.
50 to 54 is five.
And I'll tell you, my honest opinion is that what I love doing qualifiers. So I'll just say that I really enjoy
Mhm.
doing qualifiers. They're fun tests. It always breaks me out of my routine to do them. So I kind of like to see how I stack up. I was a little sick when I did qualifier 2 and 3 on Saturday. I was still getting over it was my first day training after being sick essentially for like 3 days. So I was a little jittery. I felt it. I mean, you know that feeling. It's just being a little unstable on my legs, but I got through those workouts. And then on Monday, I felt good for workout number 1. Felt really good. So it was fun to do those. But going back to like my thought on this is I don't know if I want to spend the time and energy to go down and compete in an event that is decreasing its not necessarily decreases its support, but decreasing the number of masters athletes that it has there. It's
correct.
Wodapalooza is so good at being everything for everyone that it really they add more things every year, but at the same time it comes at a cost. And for the past 3 or 4 years, the numbers of masters athletes in each division that they could go to Wodapalooza has shrunk all the way down to 10 for my age group, 5 for your age group, like 5 competitors in the 50 plus is a little bit nuts. Yeah. So I'm not super thrilled about.
They're reducing the footprint. Now, I know they're introducing mass age group teams.
Yes.
But that's, that when we say age group teams, you can start and your minimum age has to be 35. So there are going to be a lot of, that's different.
Yeah.
Young guns called 37 years old that are forming teams. I know they can't all be that young, but trying to form teams. And if you're a 40 and up, 45 and up, or 50 and up, you're just looking for a top solid off-season competition, and they're shrinking your field. It's hard to justify all that with just saying, oh, I'll go teams and I'll find some 38-year-old all-star and put together that. So I don't know. Don't shrink the Masters footprint, please.
Don't shrink.
That's what we're trying.
Yeah, don't shrink the footprint.
Have not happened.
Yeah. And so if I've got to pick and choose, really it's just a cost incentive, kind of base system. Like it's cost so much to get down to Miami and stay in Miami for Wodapalooza. It's really a treat to do it, but it's really pricey. The prizes are not, it's $2,000 for first place, nothing for second. I don't think that Masters teams, I don't think there's any prize pool as far as I know.
I haven't looked into that.
I think
much.
there is. I know there is for an RX team. I'm not sure if a Masters team has a prize pool, but with all of that, you have to kind of choose, as a Masters athlete, choose what competitions you can take a week to go and be a part of. We'll have to see if I go down. I just don't think I'm going. Especially since I'm doing Masters Fitness Collective in 2 weeks and then Legends in December. It might be time to take a break from that in-person competition to get ready for whatever we might have in 2024. But the qualifiers are fun, and I like to do them, and I like to share them with my Boulder athletes and share strategy and all that stuff, and then go out and just test it. They're fun. Get some practice in front of a camera. That always increases the adrenaline flow, which is always nice.
Absolutely.
And then the last piece of news that I saw, I don't know why I'm reading these. Normally you're our news guy, but we talked about all this beforehand. But that tomorrow night is the finalized leaderboard for the Legends qualifier. Or it'll be finalized tomorrow night. So get ready, those of you that qualify, to book your Airbnbs and your hotel rooms quick once you find out if you qualified or not. There's going to be a lot of athletes in Tempe, Arizona in December.
Excited because it's not just how are they making they're calling it RX and Elite. I think. Are they
Yes.
calling it two divisions? Because there
Yes.
is an oh wait, no. I remember when Joe was on with us. Like the scaled was for the qualifier only. Those won't be in person.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you're going to have your full athlete fields plus your teams, which are new this year.
That's
Your
right.
your 4-person team. So those were non-qualifier sign up. He wants to fill the spots, wants to see what the take up from the community is like with teams. We know the competition is fast and furious for the individuals, like such as yourself. So,
Yeah.
and they're good. They're large fields. This is exactly what we want to see. Top-notch competition, great programming, excellent venue, deep field. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
So this is what the community wants. They're delivering on it. We think Masters Championship is going to deliver the same in its various formats too. We just come off that shrinking footprint talk from Wodapalooza. I know Miami has the allure in January, but as a competitive Masters athlete, this is what we're excited about.
Exactly. And speaking of the Masters Fitness Collective, so last week we touched on some of the individual workouts, which I had just gotten off that conference call. And so we had those fresh in our hands with lots of excitement and intrepidation. Honestly, these were some tough workouts. 2 days later, you had your team announcement and you've got some of the team workouts.
Correct.
Did you have some highlights?
I do.
That you wanted to share?
Yeah, I will not go each one. I do have some highlights, but we're still audio.
Yes.
So you can't see this. Jason can, but I do have my Masters Fitness Collective Tumblr here.
That's nice.
So I hope that you'll be getting one this year as well, too, because this thing, in honor of talking about this, let's see. I'll tell you what. A lot of them have a play off of your individual events.
Sure.
I think they're called obviously different things, but different names. One, now for my partner and I'm going to partner with Lon Allen. We all come in dinged up and not 100%, but I think that's called getting older and that's life.
Yep.
But we are excited to compete. We're looking forward to it. It will be 6 years this month that I first met him in person and competed against him in person. So this is what we've been trying to do and get back to, is getting to compete together. And so come hell or high water, we're going to do this. So downhill is one that we are looking forward to. That is going to be, let's see, yours. You do have, this is not interval like, it's interval for teams. So it's every 2 minutes for 12 minutes, max calories, 6 sets. So 3 sets a partner. So there's your interval work rest. You'll begin with a 40-foot handstand walk done in 10-foot increments. And then in the remaining time of that 2-minute window, max calories on the skier.
Right.
So it is, the scoring is easy. It's the more calories, the better. The thing is each partner has to get through that 40-foot handstand walk before they can start to pull on the skier. I know Lon is comfortable being upside down. I'm pretty comfortable being upside down, especially if there's not an obstacle in the way. So I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Wow, that's fun. You really get to
else?
work through like some sprinty handstand walking.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 minutes is, I think, sufficient time to recover if you've been doing your training. Yeah. So you should be pretty recovered, and 40 feet is not going to take up as much time as you think. So you'll have a good majority of that window to really pull. So Everybody's working. Of course, I'm having internet issues here. So do you have a second one that's up?
I do.
I can get this darn link to work.
Yeah, I have all of them up, actually. You've got, how about this one, the hangman?
Oh, good.
For time,
Good.
You've got 25 rope climbs. Every time a teammate leaves the starting mat, he or she must perform 10 deadlifts at 225 before proceeding to the rope.
Oh, yes.
For rope climbs. Yeah, talk about that. For you, 50 plus is 185 on the deadlifts.
Correct. So we'll start out on the and as you as you leave the starting mat, you've got to rip off your 10 deadlifts, and then strategy comes in. Who's the better rope climber?
Yeah.
How many can you get done without taking too much rest? Because most of the times in these two-person competitions, it is better to tag your partner in than it is to take rest and try and get another rope climb or another time on the bar if it's something like that. So if you feel you can almost go touch and go 3 or 4, but then you'll start to fatigue and you'll be like, okay, I can climb the rope 5, 6, 7 times, but reps 5, 6, and 7 are going to be significantly slower. Tag your partner.
And then
rip the deads off.
they got to do the
go at
deads. That's the tricky part on the strategy is that
Yeah,
it's
they've
not
gotta do
just
the deads.
it's not just tag your partner when you're tired. Well, can you do one more rope climb, or can you afford as a team for your partner to sneak through 10 deadlifts before they get that
10
rope climb?
deadlifts, and then start that rope climb.
I'll tell you what, I did
25 rope climbs total.
Yeah, that's a good amount. And the time cap is
Mhm.
12 minutes on that, which I think that's totally doable between two people. So I don't think I don't think you'll time cap on that. But I did the individual workout today that has rowing and into deadlifts, into legless rope climbs, into handstand walking, and going from 3 heavy deadlifts. Now you have 10 deadlifts at a moderate weight. That versus 3 deadlifts of a heavy weight are probably pretty similar in their stimulus as to how they affect the rope climb. But in one of my rounds, on my second round, I took less time going from the deadlift to the rope climb. I literally dropped the deadlift and jumped up on a rope, and it got me. I got bit. Like, whoa, the deadlift. I mean, I know that's why they're pairing this deadlifts and rope climbs, because the deadlift has a big impact on the rope climbs, but I didn't think it would be that significant in that moment. So I barely made it up that rope, came down, took a second, let my body calm down. And then the second rope climb was actually better than the first in that second round. But the deadlift into the rope climbs, that's a really, really powerful stimulus right there.
Well, here's where we're going off. Not that we have a script. Believe me on that. But let me ask you this question. Okay, the deadlift today was for this event is 365.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes.
That's a solid deadlift. That's heavier than pulling power at the games, right?
Correct. Yeah, at the games we were at 350.
Okay, and you could use your legs.
Yes.
Where here.
Big difference.
Big difference. Huge. Okay, so fewer deadlifts than at the games, but you have to move into a more technical gymnastics.
Yeah, and you're under a time crunch
with a legless rope climb.
Yeah,
correct.
If you didn't have this, you in this 3-minute window, you have to get through a 300-meter row, 3 heavy deadlifts, 3 legless rope climbs, and then as many handstand walks as you can. And I got to tell you, like, the row takes a minute. I mean, you could push it and maybe the row takes 50, 55 seconds, but it takes a minute.
Yeah.
Deadlifts doesn't take long, 10, 12 seconds, whatever. But 3 legless rope climbs just get really, really tough after rowing with the pulling, after the deadlift with the pulling. Now you're just maybe if you get that first rope climb out of the way, that's fine. The second rope climb gets spicy. The third one is downright dangerous, or at least it felt like that today. It was the last piece I tested today. But to be fair, I thought it was really tough. Now, here's the interesting thing, Rick. I wonder, now I'm talking about our workout. So you have this 3-minute window. If you finish that legless rope climb, now you try to accumulate as much handstand walking as possible. Okay. You're done with this workout once you've got 150 feet of handstand walking. Let's say in the second round, you just find that you're tired. What if you just row at a moderate pace? You know, I don't know, maybe it takes a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Then you maybe do a deadlift, a single, maybe. But you're doing movements, and you don't even get
Correct.
one rope.
You don't know what the minimum work requirement is.
And then on the third round, you're well rested, and you go for broke again. They're going to have to address that because I actually had someone reach out and ask me if there was a minimum work requirement in the second round, because if you really wanted to take that entire break, because that second round is really, really, really a doozy. But I don't want to go into too much further, but except to say that I like that workout for you guys. As a partner workout, you're looking at your partner saying, hey, are you ready to do deadlifts? Because I'm ready to be done doing rope climbs. And I could stand here for another 30 seconds and then do a rope climb. Or do you want to do, the deadlifts are no joke as a buy-in to this. So I really like that as a team workout. Let's go over one more.
I told you. Yep. I want to focus on please hold.
Okay.
Because I think that is going to. Okay, it's a chipper style, like you have a chipper for the individuals. But this chipper style for team, I think this is going to destroy teams. Plain and simple. Now the weights vary. I'm looking at it for Lana and myself. We're at 105 pounds on the barbell, it looks like. Yep. Okay. So it's 80 back squats at 105 pounds, but you can only accumulate back squat reps while your teammate hangs from a bar. Okay. So you get through that. 80 toes to bar, but you can only accumulate toes to bar while your teammate is holding the bar in the overhead position.
Wow.
And then, so think about, you would say you'd like to come out and say, oh, I'm going to hold this forever, but fatigue and just you're going to be 4 or 5 minutes into the workout already at that point, three minutes into the workout already. You get through the 80s, then you're going to go 60 front squats. Again, your teammate hangs from the bar, 60 pull-ups while your teammate goes back and holds the bar overhead. And if you're fortunate enough to get through 60s, you're going to go, okay, just like you do, we have a lot of overhead squats, 40 overhead squats while your teammate hangs, and 40 chest-to-bar pull-ups while your teammate holds the bar overhead. They give us 18 minutes.
Wow.
I think that's 2 minutes longer than yours.
Yeah.
I think you might have a 16-minute cap on that.
Yep.
This is not work rest. This is work.
It is.
There are not many places to hide in this.
No. Your time under tension for 18 minutes. 18 minutes of time under tension.
So I think this is some of you might have heard the Masters Championship had Chris Hinshaw as a guest.
Yes.
And he walked through these and he talked about sticking points. Just my opinion looking at this, I think this is a sticking point. I forget exactly where this is going to be placed, but I think this is just going to crush a lot of
I think so. I can't wait to watch you do it. I know that you're going to be watching me suffer through the chipper that is like this on the individual side. And it's just going to be death. It's going to be carnage on that floor of human bodies and spittle. And I think you guys are going to be just the same. Watching you hold a bar overhead for 9 minutes, essentially, or I mean, vice versa, I guess, whatever. But the crazy. And I mean, just thinking like hanging from a bar and then holding a front squat, your grip is never getting a break either. It's not just time under tension, but your grip is going to get sandwiched, smashed. Going from holding a bar overhead when you're doing the the pull-ups and then having to go right into overhead squats on that final round, like good luck. Good luck. That overhead position is going to be tired.
Think that all these, I'll tell you from experience though, as the age groups have gotten a little older in this competition over the years, not everyone has finished workouts. I mean, they're just not programmed. You've heard people talk about programming and what their intentions are in the past. Sometimes they want to sprint and they want everybody over the finish line. There are some that have been programmed in this championship because CJ Martin has programmed all these years, that I don't think the intention is to get a lot of finishers. It's how far can you get? I mean, some standouts probably will, but 18 minutes, that's a lot of work in a period of time. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe
we're going to be out there.
Maybe I've developed this. Yeah, I'll developed this great skill of hanging from a bar forever. We'll see.
Well, what you probably should be doing is practicing constantly. There's more.
You darn right. And I have. Well, there's more, but we won't go through all of them tonight. I think it's been a nice little taste. We went through that the individuals, what you'll have next week. Yeah. We did that last week and now talked about the teams. It's going to be a fun event. Looking forward to it. And we probably will have an update show or two from Fort Wayne.
We sure will. That's going to be so much fun. And I look forward to rooming with you while we're out there. We've got our 2-bedroom, 1 kitchen, hotel room, and it's just going to be so much fun. So while we're on that subject, I think the last thing we'll touch on today is the idea of competition nutrition. It's something we'll probably touch on this every time there's big competitions come up, because a lot of people ask me about, what do I do for competition day nutrition, especially when you have something like MFC or Legends or the Games, where you have 3 to 4 days of competition, multiple events throughout the day. There's all kinds of anxiety. There's adrenaline dumps. There's cortisol. You're not hungry. You are hungry. Man, what are some tips that you have? I think maybe let's go back and forth with a tip each, maybe a couple of times. But
sure. Okay.
What is one tip that comes to mind for you for competition weekend, competition day strategy, nutrition strategy?
This is a little different than yours because of the way I know that you've had some advantages, and you'll know exactly where I'm going with this. Is most of the time I don't have everything accessible to me that I would normally have while training and living at home. So when I need to think nutrition, I need to think some flexibility with the diet, but I can't stray too far from what I'm used to digesting, what I know provides me the nutrients that I'm going to need on a competition day. So I need to be flexible and can't get so wrapped up as I don't have everything that I would normally have access to in my kitchen. So that's what I'm looking for in the store. But I also am not going and buying, we're not going to get, a dozen hot wings for breakfast and say, oh, that's it's protein. Why not? I need to stay as consistent as I can with knowing that I'm going to need some flexibility in my schedule.
Yep. I think that's a great point.
Where you've had some home course advantages here.
Oh my gosh. This MFC in 2 weeks is going to be the first time I haven't had that home court advantage in quite a while. I've been to the games for the past 3 years with my RV, 21, 22, 23. I've got my home on wheels. And pulling a wagon with a cooler that's got all my food in it. It's just great. But I think what I'm in the same way at Wodapalooza. You're not staying in an RV. You're staying in an Airbnb. And you and I did this one year, and last year my wife and I were at Wada. I generally, when you pick me up from the airport on Thursday night. Next Thursday, we'll go to the store to do a quick stocking up trip, and I'll grab the things that I always eat, like rice, eggs, egg whites, yogurt, red meat. I want to say ice cream. Not sure about that yet, but there might be ice cream in the mix.
Don't say no.
I'm not saying no. I mean, there's going to be ice cream. Let's just be transparent. Yeah. There's got to be ice cream in the freezer. I'll get as consistent. I'll be in the same way as you, as consistent as I can be with what I do on a typical training day, on a typical training week. And I'm on competition weekend. I'm not concerned about micronutrients as much as I am macronutrients. So I'm not getting the diversity of food, but I am getting the macros that I need for the weekend. During the week and after the competition, we can catch up on all those micros.
Correct. A few days of competition aren't going to throw you so far off, but no. What you don't want to have happen is to be underfueled on the competition days just because you're out of your comfort zone. I couldn't do this, or I couldn't have my oats the way I like to in the morning or something. I don't eat them. And now suddenly I don't have that much energy. I feel like crap. And
that is not what you want.
In the middle of the workout.
Terrible.
So, that's what you avoid. And I'm not worried. Okay, I'll go back to this. I'm not worried about the exact what is maybe what I should be eating. I need the calories more than anything else. So I'm a little less picky about what I eat now than a competition, because I'll go through that store with you and I'll be like, okay, this falls in that family. That's coming in the cart. Putting it in there. Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah.
I just need to consume. I need to consume, and being nervous before events too makes it more difficult to eat. Very much. I need to eat just as much as I can, whatever I feel I can digest.
Now, I'll ask you this question because I haven't done this much. I guess when I was at Wodapalooza, I had a cooler, or I carried some sort of a cooler with me or something. But at MFC, what do you do for your midday eating? We've got breakfast covered. We're going to eat that at home. We've got dinner covered. But midday, it's a long day. How do you carry your food? You just don't worry about refrigeration. But I don't worry too much about refrigeration, but I had a small cooler, and I'll bring it again. Okay. In fact, I've got a couple extra. So hey, we're making plans live and on the fly. Bring me one. That would be great. Bring me. I'm actually going to have you bring me.
But I just kept.
Go ahead. I was going to have you bring me lifters and an extra rope and like a pair of shoes, and I got a lot to pack. Extra water bottles. I need everything, man.
I'll tell you what. This is full out there for everybody. Tell me what you need. I'll see what I can pack. See, I have the advantage of the car.
You too.
And, not always. When we go out to Phoenix, I'm going to be in your same boat, and I'm going to be okay. What are my bags am I allowed to carry on, and how much stuff can I fit in there? Because this is a pain in the rear. In next week, I'm going to throw as much crap as I can in the back of the car, and that's what I would do. Is I would drag multiple bags into the Coliseum there at Fort Wayne, and just refrigeration a little bit aside, because you don't have access to that. So I had to be a little smart with some things. Yeah. But depending on when your events are, I was knowing whether I could make it back and forth to the hotel, to eat or not. And then dinner is another story because you're off site. You're not in the competition venue. So you're really only worried about pre-fueling, kind of a midday fueling, and then post a little bit to keep the calories coming.
Yeah, big catch up at night. I always find that, I'm not hungry in the morning, so I'm force feeding myself in the morning at a competition. Middle of the day, I get a little bit hungry, but I'm not trying to eat a big meal, just trying to kind of keep energy flowing throughout the day. And then at night, I am refueling. I'm eating everything there is. I've got a pound pound of ground beef for sure, as much rice as I can take in, which is why I say a bowl of ice cream, because sometimes it's just a way to top off those extra calories that don't have to be perfect. And we just got to make sure we get enough calories in a day on a competition day. It doesn't have to be like a lot more than a regular day. It actually doesn't have to be any more than a standard training day. But we are often on a competition day, we're not getting nearly enough. So we're doing everything we can to hit the macros we need, refuel, so we're good the next day. Because we know this, your performance tomorrow often has more to do with how you sleep tonight and how you ate today. That's just how it goes. So we can't have any
good point.
days or low fuel days. We're going to bonk the next day if we're under fueled today. So that's another tip.
I would think of that. I'll also pack all the vegetables that you need to. You just let me know which vegetables you like.
I will show you right where you can put them once we get to the hotel. There's a nice round trash can. Just put them. We'll cook them up and put them right in the trash.
Don't mind my salads then. How about that? No, that's one thing
I won't mind them. I will tease you.
Middle of the competition day.
Yeah, I guarantee that I'm teasing you about them, but I won't. I don't mind them. You're a smart person, and it's almost a matter of. It's almost making a point now about greens. I mean, I had a couple green beans with dinner, but I complained as much as my 6-year-old about it. I'll just say that he and I were on the same page on the green bean situation.
You know what? That works out.
I ate all the chicken.
So
I didn't eat
again. He did not eat all the chicken. Or
of course, no, he didn't eat all the chicken, but I ate all the chicken. I got the macros in. Well, I got what I needed. But yeah, one more tip. What else you got? Again,
I think this conversation will be. No, I was going to say I think we'll continue this as we talk next week.
Yeah.
With maybe what we have. I think that might not be a bad.
That sounds great.
Because again, it's not perfect. I know where the stores are, but again, it's not your usual. But you're making the best of the situation because you want to prepare yourself. So
I'll tell you I don't
mind that at all.
The little things that I will take that come in quick and really easy in person. I love yogurt out there. It's a great source of protein. So I'll always go for yogurt middle of the day. I'm just talking about middle of the day sneaky things that I do. I love fruit when I'm out there. Bananas are just packed with carbohydrates. I'm trying to not eat too much fruit because I'm not looking for a ton of fiber while I'm doing all this. And honey. I mean, just straight shots of honey. You'll see me just like mouth agape squeezing honey in my mouth while we're out there because it's such a good source of I want to say a quality source, a potent. We'll use the word potent source of
sugar. It's a
sugar.
natural source.
It's a natural source of sugar. But when it comes down to it, it's sugar. It's a tablespoon of sugar in my mouth in the form of a yellow liquid that a bee threw up, but it's delightful and it tastes great. I'll take it. So that's going to be fun.
I will have Uncrustables. How about that?
Dude, that is not okay.
Because they're all, I love it.
I might have a Pop-Tart. I might say, like, I'm trying to be completely gluten-free right now, but Pop-Tarts may show up on Sunday, like the last-ditch efforts on that last day, like, all right, let's make a Pop-Tart happen because they're just so good. But if you're going Uncrustables, I'll go Pop-Tart all day.
Sounds good.
All right, Rick, how about
Well, again, I think we can continue. Yeah, we can continue this more as we get closer to the competition.
Agreed. Do you have a tip or a pick of the week this week?
I have a tip, and it'll dovetail into kind of what we were just discussing, and we'll see if I can practice what I preach. I am a list maker, so I will have the advantage of again throwing everything into the car that I need because I'm able to drive there. That's the easy part. But especially from a fueling perspective, I will make a list, try to plan out as much as I can of what I want to eat and when I want to eat it. And then it's just, if I have a list and I'm able to check those things off, it's one less thing I have to think about. Because unlike some of the younger athletes, I don't have 5 people following me around that help take care of everything for me. A lot of it is my responsibility, and I want to put myself on as autopilot as I can so that all I have to do is communicate with Lon, get out there and perform. So that's my mindset. And so I will have a pretty detailed list.
Man, that's great.
As I arrive on site.
That is so smart. Excuse me. Even having a list of what to eat, when to eat, like just so smart, so Rick Stevenson like. If anyone knows you, this is a Rick Stevenson style situation. All right.
Yeah, I thought it was, last thing I say, I thought it was really cool when, on some of those documentaries, like when Matt Fraser was getting interviewed, and he talked about maybe some of the biggest jumps that he made in the sport were getting through school, not juggling work, being able to train full time, but having like Sammy and O'Keefe around him, and how much of a support staff they were to him, where all he had to do was think about getting out there on the floor and burning the house down, and everything else was handled.
Yeah.
Masters athletes, by and large, don't have that afforded to them in numbers or in people, because again, we're not doing this as our profession. We're doing this is our sport. This is our fun. And so if you can eliminate some of those what ifs and, oh, I forgot that kind of moments, I think it allows you to just be a little bit more laser focused on the competition floor.
Yeah, I love that. I'm already starting to think about the sticky notes and lists that I need to make. I'll just create a note actually in my phone and start building the list of all the things I need to pack and get onto a plane. The things I need you to bring, which I could send you via text, and that's just good. My tip of the week is
it can't hurt because you have a job.
I've got a job and I got to travel and I got to check one bag, I'm not checking a bag. I'm carrying a bag. I never check a bag on the way to a competition. I can't. There's nothing I want to check. There's nothing I'm bringing that I can't that I don't need. I need everything I'm bringing, so I'm not checking a bag. I'm carrying on and. It's just stressful, super fun. My tip of the week is it just has to do with grips. I was thinking about this today. I was at a training camp this weekend that I hosted in the Outer Banks. It was so much fun. Such a great group of people. It has to be thinking like I could live there. I could live there and train at this gym. Roanoke Island Fitness Lab. These guys are just salt of the earth. I got to tell you, Rick, the owner of that gym, he has built boats or fished his entire life. He's 67 years old and has been a boat maker, fisherman his whole life. And so we were going to fish on Sunday, deep sea fish in a boat that he's built, just an unimaginable sized boat. But there's a hurricane spinning offshore. So there's no one's going out in that water. So we didn't do that. But he brought me a fresh cut of tuna steak that was probably 4 pounds. Like a fresh sushi grade tuna. Yeah.
Sushi grade.
Oh my God. He brought it. I actually brought my cooler with me to the actual to the training camp. And I was like, he's like, hey, would you like some tuna? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I have 4 pounds for you if you'd like. And I've got some steamed shrimp that's fresh as well. I was like, yes. I have my cooler. Do you have extra ice? Took care of me. So the past 2 nights, we've had unbelievable amounts of seared tuna here, and the thing that's funny is it actually tastes like a 5-star restaurant seared tuna. This is what fresh fish is like. Fresh, never frozen, wild. It was amazing. But okay, so I'm at this training camp. I got fun story. But I noticed that there were some athletes there that were doing pull-ups without grips. And it just reminded me like how my tip of the week is buy yourself a pair of grips and get used to wearing grips. And I remember when I first started wearing grips in CrossFit a long time ago, it was really hard to get used to wearing grips. I felt like they were slippery. My hand not contacting the bar felt like I just didn't feel like I had a secure grip. It took me a little while to get used to it. And at the time, that was when I was putting my fingers through the holes on grips and they were sort of folded over and I had that as grips. Since then, I'm sure at least 60% of our audience is saying, well, yeah, duh. But there's a good amount of people out there that don't know the trick of like not putting your fingers in the holes on grips and letting them flap up over the bar. And when you do that in such a way, it gives you this amazing lock on the bar with the palm of your hand, pinching your grip and literally having most of your body weight pulling on your wrist, not actually your hand skin being torn off on the bar, right? I have a YouTube video on this. So if you need instruction to see this, if you need to visually see this, just go to YouTube and search Jason Grubb grips. And I've got a video on this, but just a friendly reminder that, sometimes, it may not make sense to not put your fingers in the holes. Like, why would they have holes on grips? One. And then two, like actually wearing grips. But just if you can get those grips up on the bar, it makes it so that you don't fail on toes to bar or chest to bar or pull-ups or muscle-ups. You don't fail because of your grip. You fail because your core is blasted or you can't pull anymore. You're not failing because you can't hang on to the bar. Now you at MFC, you may fail because you can't hang on to the bar because you've been hanging on the bar for 18 minutes.
Correct.
But that's a different.
But I want that feeling. I want that lock.
Yeah.
When I jump up, I'm going to want that lock.
Yes.
So I could just kind of say, okay, I'm just going to need to hang until I have no feeling left in my fingers. That's it. Basically.
Yeah. Your wrist is so strong, and the connective tissue in that wrist is way stronger than your actual physical grip that your forearms can create on that bar. So let the grip do the work. And so that you can, I do that if I'm training deadlifts, I use grips the same way. Training deadlifts, not competition, but training. Because again, it allows me to maximize my effort without the grip being the limiting factor. So just a little reminder.
Limiting factor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wear grips, get used to them, chalk them up, and if find the right ones. Find the ones that work.
You got it. Good tip.
All right, Rick. Well, another week done. Appreciate you, my friend. And we will do this again next week, right? And then I'll see you at just over a week.
9 days. Yeah, just over a week.
There we go.
Looking forward to it.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Masters in Motion podcast. If you found this episode to be helpful, we'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. So many have already left a review. We appreciate all the reviews out there, guys. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, get bolder, not older. See ya.